Hello, hello, hello. All right, so welcome to class, guys. Welcome to Cloud Operations Training. All right, so my name is Akin Aregbesola. I'll be your trainer for this particular module. For the Cloud Operations module, for this first 3 months of training, we would have 3 courses. We would have 3 modules, if you want to call them module, within this course. So all right, so bear with me. All right, guys. So yeah, let's just do it. Basically, we'll be doing introduction to IT in this first class because many of my trainees, many of you are completely new, if not all of you, are completely new to IT. So we'll just use this as a soft landing to introduce you to the concept of IT and particularly to the concept of cloud, so that hereafter you should be comfortable with the terms that we'll be using in the training proper. All right. So the entire training program, well, IT never ends, but what we'll be doing in the first 3 months of training, 3 months, yeah. We'll call this one cloud operations. And under this course that I have called cloud operations, we'll be looking at Linux or Linux operating system. We'll be looking at AWS cloud, and then we'll be looking at infrastructure as code with Terraform. All right. So these are the 3 modules we'll cover in these first 3 months of training. All right. At the end of these 3 months of training, you would have learned how to manage, how to administer systems, particularly server systems, how to administer systems using Linux operating system. And then you'd have learned how to go into cloud and set up infrastructure on which applications would run. We call that cloud architects. And then on top of that, you would also learn how not to go into console and begin to use your mouse to click stuff like we are going to do at the beginning, but to use codes to deploy the infrastructure that you architect under AWS Cloud Solutions Architect. So we are going to learn how to use code to define our infrastructure using the industry standard called Terraform. All right, so I will explain all of this in details today, and then at the end of that, you learn how to use the infrastructure as code. All right, so I'll explain all of this, and then once you understand that and you gain an overview of what you'll be covering the next 3 months, I'd also take you into another detailed 3 months of training that you may or may not be covering later, but generally referred to as DevOps Engineering. And then I'll teach you the 3 modules, or give you an overview of the 3 modules I'll be covering under DevOps. And this would be CI/CD engineering, Kubernetes, basics, and then Kubernetes. Let me not call it advanced, let me call it intermediate. All right, I'll give you an overview of all of this. And then depending on what you want to know when you ask questions, I'll also show you how all of this relates to the industry at the moment and the industry of the future. And of course, the job opportunities and other opportunities that will be open to you after you have learned all of these different aspects of IT, information technology. All right, so let us start with Linux operating system. And then after that, we'll move to that, and then one by one. All right, so all right, so typically when we say IT these days, what we mean, what we have in mind, even if we do not explain all of that in detail, is that there is this place that we call cloud. What do we mean by cloud? By cloud, we mean that the servers, the networking that you should build normally, ideally, okay, so let me start from the very scratch. So when you have a system, one computer there, another computer there, another computer there, and so on and so forth. Let's stop at 3. For these computers to be able to, for them to make meaning, for them to be able to communicate with one another so that it makes sense as an IT infrastructure, you must have them all connected to one another. All right, so if we could use cable, if we use that as, if we call that a cable that is connecting this system 1 to this system 2, and then a cable is connecting system 2 to system 3, another cable is connecting system 3 to system 1. When you have this kind of arrangement, you say we have a network, computer network. Right? So by computer network, we simply mean interconnection of 2 or more computers together. What's the reason for interconnection? So that they can share resources, so that from this computer 1, you can, for example, transfer file to computer 2. From computer 3, computer 1, computer 2, computer 3 can all, through a central, actually in reality, you have a central device here to which all of them are connected. So that if you have 300 computers, all of them are connected to this central device that is generally called switch. Right? So the essence of networking is such that through this switch, all of these computers, interconnected computers, or these devices generally, can share resources. That resource could be, for example, internet connection, could be a printer, could be a database, could be anything from file to directory to databases to applications to software and so on and so forth. So the fundamental, the underlying concept for computers to be able to share resources is that they are all connected together in what? In what you call network. So you must first of all have a computer network. All right? So computer networks are not always wired, but we are just using the example of wired systems here. Right? These days, what you see often is wireless. So you could have, instead of computer, we could actually have a device. Maybe another one will be real computer. Another one will be some kind of AI, some kind of machine. all right? And then they are all connected wirelessly together, so no cable, right? In the case of wireless connection, within a small organization, instead of the switch that we have here, we are going to have a central device that you may not even see, somewhere on the ceiling or somewhere hidden, but those kind of devices are generally called access points. But the idea is not to show you, it's not to teach you networking here. The concept here is that fundamentally, we must have devices connected together and ready to share resources. Whether that resource will be in the form of data or information or one form of hardware or another, or most often, like you would see in your own, in the case of your training application, it does not matter. You just would have to have a network in place for you to be able to say, yes, now I am ready for IT, all right? So all of the individual components, from the cable to the switch, to the server, to the workstation, to the router, even the printer, the internet, the database, all of these individual components that come together to form this network, this computer network that we mentioned earlier on, they are called network infrastructure. Infrastructure. All right? Your examples would be server, workstation, switch, router, anything at all, even including the software that is running inside here that you do not see. So every time I say infrastructure, I mean parts or the entire components, resources, devices, physical software that come together, that work together to form your computer network. All right. So I drew this outside so that you gain the concept for people that are completely new to IT, the concept and the idea of, oh, in IT, there are devices, which could be, sometimes we just call these devices machines, whether they are as simple as a mobile phone or as complex as a machine that is running multi-processors, we just simply call them machines. So the concept I need you to take from here is that every time we talk about IT, there are infrastructure involved, right? Now, this infrastructure and the networking and the cable and the access points, they are no longer mostly physical. So what we have now is that some IT giants, like Amazon, for example, if you can see that, like Amazon, have prepared all of this infrastructure in a place called data center, all right? And also Microsoft, all right? And even Google, and then Oracle, and so on and so forth. These big names that have prepared these facilities and made them available, they are called tech giants. So they have prepared data centers where this physical infrastructure exists, all right? So they have tens and thousands of resources, routers, switches, computers, physical security, software security, all of them working together. And then they now made this infrastructure available in the form of software services in cloud, so that the power that is available on this system is now available in cloud and can be accessed through the internet. So you can now connect to the internet, and then you can have access to the resource available inside this machine. This machine is the equivalent of that machine, because this one is physical within the data center, but this one is not physical as you see it, because it's not in your room. This is your room. You're accessing it from your room through Ethernet connection. We call this one virtual machine. All right. So all of these resources that were hitherto available in your own physical office are now available in the respective data centers of these tech giants, and they now make the facilities available in the form of software on their cloud platform. So these resources can now be accessed through cloud, but they are not physical to you, because if they were physical to you, then you have them in your room. But all you have is like a laptop, for example, that you use to connect to these enormous resources that would have cost you thousands, maybe even millions of dollars to set up on your own. All right. So we now have your server, your databases, your switch, your router, all this networking. Everything is now available, ready-made for you. Just connect to it and you have access without you needing to buy systems, to buy cables, to call some engineer to connect them all together. Everything is ready-made available. As a matter of fact, there are hundreds of other services that you do not even know exist. You do not need right now. But as your business expands into the future, you may say, oh, I didn't know that exists. Now I need it to enhance my service to be able to compete favorably in the market. So all of these services and all of these other services that you already know that you need now, they are already available, made available. And then just connect to it, pay as you go, and then you have access. Just the same way that instead of you having your own physical generator for your electricity, you just connect through cable to public electricity. I mean, whoever is your electric provider, everything is already made. And the minute you connect to their grid, you have electricity. The same way. So you don't need to go buy generator and run your the expenses of providing your electricity. That's the same way these cloud providers have provided all of these resources, all of these servers, all of this networking. How many can we list? So we simply call all of them together infrastructure. Right? So what we want to learn in IT is how do we access this infrastructure and begin to use this infrastructure for the purpose we should have created our own network for. For example, maybe we have a contract to analyze the entire database of T-Mobile. Maybe we have a contract to analyze the whole data in the world and extract the useful info that Tesla will use to control their cars so that the possibility of accident is 0.00001%. Or maybe it's even a small project of we want to put our own personal website on a server and make that server available so that the whole world can see our service through our server. I mean, there are millions of possibilities. All of the infrastructure resources are already available there. It's now up to you to come up with an idea of, oh, what can I do with this to make money? So no wonder we have so many millionaires coming up with ideas and just spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes to set up the infrastructure and then experimenting and deciding, oh, this is wow, it's working. I want to go ahead with it, or I need to improve it before I release the product to the market. So do you see the concept of cloud now, that with the emergence of cloud, we really talk less about the physical infrastructure, but now we talk more about the virtual infrastructure, which is represented in cloud. Therefore, we are starting our study of IT from cloud, no longer from physical infrastructure like we used to do 10 years ago. And then talking about cloud, the people who have set up data center and made the services available through cloud, they are Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Alibaba, and so on. There are actually many. It's just that the three most popular of them in the order of market share are Amazon, Microsoft, Google. The cloud that Amazon provides, they call it Amazon Web Services. All right, so this one is called Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services. The cloud that is built on Microsoft data center that they provide to the world is called Microsoft Azure. And the one by Google is called Google Cloud Platform, right? So because AWS is the biggest, the one that actually started this whole concept of cloud, and for now it's still the biggest, many times when we refer to cloud without specifically mentioning any name, this is what I have in mind, because it's the father of cloud. All right. So do you see the place of cloud now? Can we now focus on cloud and learn more about that? Any questions so far? All right. I believe you can hear me though.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So with cloud now, if we go into cloud now, we're going into AWS. We are going to learn how to come into AWS, and then we'll see all of the thousands of different services and resources available there. Of all of them, the first one we want to do is set up a server. It's very easy to do. 3 clicks and your server is up. In AWS Cloud, AWS, we call the server EC2. So we set up an EC2. So any baby can set up EC2 in 2 minutes. After you set up a server in cloud, you need to be able to go into the server. From the cloud environment, you need to be able to move from setting up the server and go into the server and begin to manage the server. In terms of, this is what I want you to do. This is the service I need you to run. For example, I want to put my web page here so that the whole world can see. So I want you to be my web server. This is one of the simplest things you can. So how do you convert this server that can act in one of hundreds of capacity? How do you make it act as a web server? So what you need to do, generally, first of all, when we talk about servers, because in cloud, we are talking about 7, not 5 persons, like you would have in your room server or your office server, not 50 persons, not 500 persons, not even 500,000 persons. In cloud, the servers in cloud, we are talking about the possibility of serving millions and even billions of customers. Because the resources available in cloud is such that this server can auto-scale, can expand to, unless you cannot afford it, to whatever capacity your traffic is, and expand and even contract. All right? But that's not the point. The point is, because of the versatility, the high availability that you need of this server, and resilient, because you are going to have so many, there is the possibility of having millions of customers. You want the kind of operating system that will run here and ensure that this server never goes down, that it is always available anytime your customer is trying to browse or connect to your server. The kind of operating, broadly speaking, there are 2 kinds of operating systems commercially. There are 3, but Apple is not so common commercially. It's their private product. So when we talk about operating system, we talk about Windows Server as an operating system, as a network operating system. Then we talk about Unix-based operating system like Linux. So these are the 2 common operating systems, even though there are, these are the 2 common ones. So between these 2, when it comes to, you are managing a corporate network basically means small networks of 10,000 computers or less, 10,000 connections, simultaneous connections. Right? We call them corporate. But we're talking about, if we're talking about computers of thousands and millions of simultaneous connection, like you are going to have here, if we assume that even though you are starting small, your company is going to grow big, or maybe it's not even your company. We are talking about companies like Uber, Facebook, who are they? All of the big tech companies, We're talking about billions of subscribers and customers connecting to the server. So for those kinds of networks, we don't call them corporate networks because they are not small networks. We call them enterprise networks. All right. So for enterprise networks, we'll be looking at Linux operating system. So what I'm saying in essence is that for your course, for what you are here to learn, the servers that you'll be setting up for your employer would typically run Linux operating system. It is with Linux operating system that you are going to tell the server what to do and how to do it for your employer. Right? So that explains the place of Linux as an operating system. So the first thing we are going to learn after we come into cloud and we set up server is how to go into this server and run Linux operating system and use Linux operating system to manage the entire behavior of this server in terms of how do you use Linux to manage. The actual word for manage in IT is administer. To administer that server. Administer a server will be stuff like what can the server do? What services is the server running? Who and who should have access to the server? Right? When they have access to the server, what and what can they do while they are connected to the server? What ports are open and what ports are blocked? There are a lot of configurations that you can enable or disable, but you will not know how to do that if you do not know how to use Linux as an operating system to do it. So that is the reason we are learning Linux operating system to learn how to manage servers in cloud. Otherwise, you will just set up the server and somebody else will be called to come and administer, to come and set it up, to come and manage. No, that's not what employers want. That's not what employers want. Employers want you to set up the server, right? Configure the server, load the appropriate tools and services to run the server in order to deliver Uber, for example, to their customers, and then open the necessary ports and close the ones you do not want, so that even though they are able to access the application, they are not able to access areas that you do not want them to access, and so on and so forth. Right? So that is why we call it cloud server administration with Linux operating system. All right, so that is the first course. And that is the one we are starting. Linux operating system. Linux. That is person. Right? Linux operating system. Then after we learn Linux, the next thing we want to do is we look around cloud. We go into cloud and we see other services in cloud. All right? We see relational databases. We see load balancer. We see ECR. There are many resources. How many can I remember? Route 53 or DNS. All right. We see a lot of resources, CloudFormation, you know. So we look around and we look at all of these resources one by one, and we tell you what they do, and then we spin them up and we use it to do what they do. So that at the end of the second month, you will be familiar with not all of the resources that is within the curriculum of Cloud Solutions Architect. Cloud Solution Architect. Right? Cloud is too wide. No one man. A lifetime is not enough for one person to know everything in cloud. So it is divided into specialization, different parts. So the Cloud Solutions Architect part, which is the one we'll be doing, is the part that tells you the different, at least on a high level, the different services available in cloud and how you can take this, connect it to your server, take this, add it to your server. So by the time you are adding stuff to your server, it's no longer just server. We are now talking about complete infrastructure. how you can take this server, take another server, put them together, create a network called VPC, put them together on a network, how you can now connect that network to your Route 53 so that it ready, you know, how all of these things work together. So with that, you are now able to architect an environment that is ready to accept some grub-up or some favor application, because the owner of grub-up, the owner of favor, they are not technical people, they are just business people. And even if they were, there's so much work. So they are dedicating this work to somebody who has gone through this training. He knows what to take, assemble them into a defined set of infrastructure according to company policy, and says, yes, I am now ready. This infrastructure is scalable, is secure, is cost optimized, is highly available. It is now ready to accept your application. And then the developers will put the application there, and then the application will go live and the whole world will see it. And then they begin to make their money. So that aspect of understanding cloud and the services within cloud, learning them one by one, and then understanding them enough to be able to assemble them into what I call the set of infrastructure within your VPC. That is what we call cloud solutions architecting, and that's what you learn in your second month. Your first month, you learn how to administer servers using Linux. Second month, you dive deep into cloud, you take a deeper look, because right here, you are just coming into cloud to set up only servers. You are not really studying the entire cloud. But in the second class, you study the entire cloud. You know what is available. You know the different, there are different functions, and you're able to assemble. You know what you need. If we tell you, for example, to go set up, to go architect infrastructure for the deployment of social application, so you know what question to ask me in order to draw your requirements and determine what you need to set up to meet the requirements for that application. And then finally, in the third month of your first 3 months, you will learn how not to come into console. For example, what do I mean by console? Yes. Can you see my screen? So this has to come to AWS. We'll still do it later. This is just an overview, just for people who are. So I come into AWS. You are going to set up your own account. So when I come in here, no, this is not the account. Go back. So the cloud we're talking about is right here. All right, so I go into cloud. This is AWS. I'm inside AWS now. All right, so I set up an EC2. All right. Don't worry, I'm just running through. I'm not really teaching you now. I just want to give you an idea of how it's done. All right, so I say set up an EC2 instance, and then I'm just going to call it my Linux server, for example, and then I'm just going to say my key pair, right? And then I say launch EC2. So it's done. My server is launching. So do you see me here using my mouse to click stuff? This Windows environment, this graphic user environment where I'm using my mouse to click stuff is called the console. This graphic user console, all right? So this is what you are going to learn in the second month. What is launch template? What is instance type? You are going to learn all of it. It's so voluminous. What is load balancing? What's target group? What's elastic IP? Auto scaling. You are going to learn all of it. All right. And then you are going to learn what S3 bucket is, Route 53, and so on and so forth, according to the curriculum of Cloud Solutions Architect associate level. All right. At the end of month 2, you will know everything, and then you'll be good. However, No employer is going to employ you to come here and be setting up EC2 by the use of mouse to click stuff. No, 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 no. All right. So even at that level, even though you would have learned so much, you are still not right for the job market. What you want to be able to do for you to say you are not right for the job market, the same things that you came here to do using your mouse to click stuff, you want to be able to go to a graphic user environment. I mean, a command line interface, non-graphic user environment. For example, a place like this, right? I want to be able to, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So you want to be able to come to a place like this and run codes. And then when you run your Terraform code from here, it is the Terraform code, all of your work will be from here, this environment. Compared to the other environment, this is not console, right? This is your command line CLI, your command line interface. All right. So the point I'm making from here, I do not mean to really overload you so much, but the point I'm making from here is that it is when you are able to work from this environment that you can now say, I am ready for work. This is the environment of automation, using codes to do what you should normally be doing here by clicking mouse. So this is what we are going to learn in the third one. How do you write, or where do you go to extract the codes that you need to run from here in order to set up for you in cloud what you should normally be looking around to click here and there. So invariably, what will take you 3 weeks to, maybe that's exaggeration, what will take you 3 hours to do right here by clicking stuff, going to Route 53, clicking stuff, going to S3, I can just do everything once I have the right code in 3 minutes or in 5 minutes. Because all I'm just going to do is run the code here and everything will be deployed for me over here. So that is what we are going to learn in month 3. How do you convert your infrastructure to code and run the code from this environment? All right. So by the time you complete those 3, you can now say, yes, I am a technical person, I'm an IT person. I can begin to look for work now because I have covered Linux, cloud architecting, and provisioning infrastructure using code. All right, any question on that point? Yes, any question?
No. No.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
People warn me that they are completely new to IT, that am I sure I'll take it? So they should be able to say whether they are following so far. I appreciate the ones that are answering, but need more answers. We're supposed to be 11 class. Why are we 13? Yes, please go on. Somebody wants to. Oh, okay. Yeah, we are 13 because there are 2 people here that are for the advanced course. I'll come back to you. Please bear with me as I do an overview of IT for the benefit of everyone. Yes. No questions? All right. If there are no questions, let's move on. Okay. Now that I think I should ask you a few questions just to make sure you're following. All right. So we have cloud. All right. Which are the 3 biggest tech giants that provide cloud facility? I'm asking now, since you didn't have questions for me. Cloud is provided by companies that are made available to either for public use or for private use. So you know one company that is responsible?
AWS, Microsoft, and GCP, Google Cloud.
All right. So what are the companies that own this cloud platform?
Amazon, Microsoft, and Google.
Thank you. Thank you. And then the person who said that in
Oracle.
Yes, Oracle and so on. Yes. All right. Those three are just the biggest. That's why I refer to them. All right. So when you're able to come in here to set up your server, your Route 53, your RDS, your auto scaling, using your mouse to click stuff, what do we call you? What do we say you're able to? I mean, what title may we give you once you're able to do this one? Auto scaling,
infrastructure.
Yes, we are setting up all of this. All of this is called infrastructure. So what title can we assign to you once you're able to set up all of this infrastructure?
Solution architect.
Solution architect. Thank you. All right. So as a solution architect, you can work either from console or from where? Where's the other place?
From the command line.
CLI. Command line. Correct. Correct. So which is better? Which one do you know? And then you say, I know what I know now. Let me go and start looking forward.
CLI.
CLI, that's command line interface.
Why?
Because you're able to apply code, infrastructure as code.
It takes lesser time.
Yes, it takes much less time. In fact, so less that you can actually call it automation. So once you run it once and it's good, then you can take that same code to a different company and run it millions of times. It would never, it saves you the time of repeating that task over and over. All right, so good. You are following. All right. So all of that has to do, as long as you are within here, we call this place operations. All right, everything you are doing here is with operations. And this is where the world will see. It is what is in operations, especially once everything has been moved into the server in operations that the world, where you deploy your application for the world to see. This server, I'm sorry if I'm using too many words right now, but we'll explain all of them later, just an overview. So this server is called your production. All right. But the point I want to make from here is that outside operation, there is a different department called development. Development. So these are the people who write your codes. So they develop your codes in Java, in PHP, in Node.js. So they write your codes and they save your code centrally. All right. So the codes, it is the codes in here, the codes that you have in this repository. These are the codes that will ultimately become the application. These are the codes that would build into the application and be deployed in this server. Right? So how do we now integrate the codes with this server? Right? So there is this code that is built, and then this code will need to be converted to Artifact. In fact, we need to build the code into Artifact, all right? And then the artifact will need to be converted to image, and then the image would be stored in an image repository. For example, ECR, we're going to talk about that. And then you might need to pull that and then Dockerize it. Containerize it using Docker, and then move the container into that. So these different steps, all right? So from between here and here, you are going to use commands like git. This place will be GitHub. This one to build the codes to Artifact will be Maven, assuming that you are writing Java code. This one will be Jenkins to automate, to set up and automate your CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins. This one will be Docker. This one will be Docker Hub. So these are the tools that you would learn Why are you learning these tools? You are learning these tools so that you can interface, you can cooperate, you can collaborate with the developers, pull their codes, build the codes into the application, and deploy the application to production. You see that your work has gone, I mean, earlier on, your work was strictly operations, but now you are extending an arm to developers so that you are not just in operations, you are also interfacing with developers. So the person who is able to do this, to interface development with operations, that is called DevOps. So outside of, once you have learned operations in the first 3 months, then you would want to learn how to interface, like we said earlier on, with developers so that the codes that they build can become useful ultimately. Who are you working for? Amazon or Facebook? And become the Facebook codes, Facebook website or application that the world sees. All right? So that is the place of DevOps. And this is what we are going to do in the next 3 months of training. After the first 3 months. All right? So that's why we mentioned that we are going to learn GitHub, and so on and so forth in the second 3 months of training. If you let me, I'll just go to the website and see. All right, so this is what we're talking about. That in the first 3 months, we'll cover everything we said earlier on. And then the second 3 months, we are going to cover Jenkins, Docker, Ansible, AWS. And then there is a concept of Kubernetes. What does that mean? All right. Now, the concept of Kubernetes is that here there are so many things to do. You need to do this, do this, do this. What if we just remove all of the individual tasks to do here? All right. And put a managed service that can by itself generate and complete those tasks. So all you do is create and manage that service by itself. And that service will be Kubernetes. So that the servers that you should normally create separately, they are now within the Kubernetes, and Kubernetes is just managing the entire cluster on your behalf. So this is what is in vogue now. All right, companies are moving away from managing those infrastructures as individual components and putting all of them under the management of Kubernetes cluster, so that they only manage Kubernetes cluster, and Kubernetes cluster manages the entire environment. So your testing environment, your dev environment, and even your production environment can all be contained within your Kubernetes cluster. All right, it's maybe too advanced to talk about now, but the concept is that the new way of managing infrastructure in cloud is no longer to manage them individually, is to build Kubernetes cluster and then put all of and then Kubernetes cluster would almost by itself, because it's very intelligent, it knows what and what it needs, it will build everything by itself and help you manage everything within by itself, simplifying the management of infrastructure in cloud. So rather than talking about those infrastructures individually, we are now simply talking about creating and managing Kubernetes cluster. Every other thing we talked about earlier on will now be inside Kubernetes. At this level, yes, you can now say, I'm looking for 6-figure job. Because once you claim that you know up to this level, rather than your questions coming from only operations, your questions will now come all the way from this part all the way to this part, especially around this part. If you do not know it, fine. But once you claim that you know it, they want to know your how much do you know? What have you done with it? And then, of course, in all of this, we'll be running projects to give you the practical exposure that you know, that you'll be able to claim as experience at the end of the training. So IT is not theory like you will see from day one. We'll build all of these ones and actually deploy applications into them. And then luckily we're using live IP, so we're able to go outside and pretend to be the client or the customer, and then we'll see exactly what's showing. If it's not behaving how we want it to behave, or it's not even working at all, we will know, and then we'll go back in and do the corrections and do the troubleshooting until we're able to see exactly what the customer should do. All right, I'll take a break there and then take questions. So do we have an overview of what we'll be covering now in the next, first of all, in the first 3 months, especially, and then maybe later on in the second 3 months? Yes, questions? All right. So majority of the people in this class are starting with cloud operation, covering AWS Solutions Architect. So we'll be talking about Linux Systems Administration, AWS, and then, of course, Infrastructure as Code, these 3 courses. However, there are at least 2 persons. I'm actually expecting 1 or 2 more persons to join, so that will be at least 4 that are coming, that they're already familiar with this, and then we're just starting right away with this. So for this one, the classes would be today, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but for this one, the classes will be Mondays and Wednesdays. All right? So this is fully practical. And then, of course, we'll cover all of these courses, all of these practical. But this one is still like your first stage of IT, more like the elementary part of it. It is only when you get here to this 3rd month that we can begin to say, yes, you're an IT person. Otherwise, this is just voluminous, but it's so simple. All right, so yes, I can take your questions now. I try to give an overview just to cover the usual questions that I normally get from people that are new to IT. But in case I'm missing anything, you can ask specific questions. And then if you want to know what the course outline is like for each of these, right? You find the course outline. Infrastructure as code. This is what we're going to do on the course outline. For AWS Solutions Architect, this is what we'll cover. For cloud server administration with Linux, this is what we'll cover. And so on and so forth. For CI/CD, this is what we'll cover. All right, guys. Questions now from you?
Yes, I got a question.
Yes.
Yes, are we going to be given like a weekly project or assignment so we can like get our hands dirty, like do some hands-on?
For the first 3 months. So
Yes.
what you'll be required to do in the first 3 months of training is we'll do the projects they are not majorly projects. Projects will only come in from projects will begin to come in from AWS. But for Linux is just the fundamental tool that you need to be able to complete projects. So we'll do the Linux commands together in class. So what is expected is that you go back, watch the video, and try to do on your own what we did together in class. So it will not be on a weekly basis or anything like that. Just be a matter of, we did this in class, go and do it by yourself. So that way you can claim the experience. But from AWS, yes, you would have, from AWS onwards, you would have again, not on a weekly basis. It will be end of course project for both AWS and for infrastructure. So during the week and during training, we'll be running projects together. Your trainer will be writing the projects, and then you'll be watching, and then you ask questions, and then you go back on your own. Where's the site? And then try to do it by yourself. Yes. Yes, did that answer your question? So this one, you will have a daily, every time you come to class, you would have something new to execute, and then you should understand it. But at the end of that course, you would have something that you alone will go and do by yourself as end of course to do. This one, the same thing. And this one, you would have something. In fact, let us see what we have. Let's open the node for Linux. So while Linux. All right, so this is what I mean. All right, so something like this. End of course practice. All right, so you are going to create, modify, and delete user accounts and groups. Then you are going to do this. This is what you will do. All right. All right, you are going to write a bash script that will do that. All right, but before you do this, we would have done all of the bits together in class. So we'll come to class, and then we'll see how do you install packages on Linux. We'll run all of this together in class, and then we'll test it. We'll see it work. All right, and then we'll see. Yeah.
Are we gonna install like an operating system, like maybe the Linux itself, or are we using like a third party, maybe like CentOS or Ubuntu?
Are we going to install what?
The OS directly to our system, or are we using like
no, everything we are doing is in cloud.
Cloud.
Yeah. So we'll go into cloud and set up a system in cloud, and then we'll use it in cloud. So you are not setting up anything on your own personal system. You know? All right. So for us to practice with Linux, for example, we'll go into cloud. All right. You are going to have I'm going to show you how to set up your own cloud account free of charge. Use it for 1 year to trade. And then you set up the system, you launch your system like this, and you say, on this system, I want to run Ubuntu, for example, or Amazon Linux, or Red Hat, whatever you decide. But in our own case, of course, we are going to use Amazon Linux. All right. So you put Amazon Linux on the system, and then you determine the kind of system you want to do. But of course, I want you to stay as much as possible on the free tier so that you are not charged. And then use your key pair. And then once you set that up, and it is up and running, then you go into it and you begin to practice. So we are not loading anything on our own. All right. Yes, questions.
What if you already have like a free Amazon console
account?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just use your account.
So you don't need to do it. Okay.
Yeah, just use your account.
Okay.
But if you do not already have one, we'll show you how to create. All right. So once you have your EC2 running, and then you just go into your EC2, and then you begin to practice. This is our Linux. So, right. So this will be.
Is it the same thing like the regular Linux you have on your local machine, or it's a bit different?
What distro of Linux do you have? If it's around CentOS, Fedora, yes, Linux is Linux. It's basically the same.
I don't have it right now on my computer, but the one we use at work, I think it's like the one for complaints, so maybe it's going to be Red Hat or whatever.
Red Hat. Yeah, at work it's likely to be Red Hat because that's the supported version, so that in case you run into a problem, you have somebody to call. Yeah. So yes, this is built around Red Hat. It's just a flavor of Red Hat. If anybody can take, we'll talk about that when we go into the training.
So I have a question. If we're
Yes.
gonna be practicing this on Amazon, are we gonna get like an instruction on what to do on the Amazon
Yes.
console? Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, you have your manual. This is the manual. This is your manual.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So to explain what networking is, what server is, and all of the little things I tried to explain earlier on. And then, of course, for the practicals, it tells you go to aws.com.
Oh.
And then it tells you how to create a free account.
Mhm.
And then how to set up an EC2. Yeah, we'll go one step by step through this manual together in class.
Okay.
Yes. So this is
Thank
what we'll be following. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then how to set up your SSH client. Yeah, everything will, by the end might appear hard at the beginning, but by the time we do it together after 3 weeks, everything will be consistent. How to make directory, change directory, remove directory, how to edit files, how to create user accounts, how to manage user accounts, how to set permission to file, to folders, all right? And so on and so forth. Yes, more questions? You get this manual, and then you get access to recorded classes. Every class is recorded so that if you miss class, or even if you don't miss class, of course, you may not necessarily understand everything we talked about in class. So you can review the videos and then practice and by line according to the video.
So are you gonna send the manuals out today or when we get to the class?
Is that not who is talking? Who is speaking? Sorry.
It's Abby.
Abby, right?
Yeah.
That's Abby.
Yeah, Abimbola.
Abimbola. My Abimbola, right?
Yes.
So this is not your class now. So why are you interested in the manual?
It's always good to refresh your brain. It's been a while, you know. I've been on leave, I've not been working, and this thing, if you're not doing it, you just kind of like, oh.
I'll think about that. This manual is for people who, for the first 3 months. Yours is second 3 months. Yes. All right. Yes. Questions from the people that are completely new to IT?
Okay. Do you mean now that we won't be able to get this manual till second month or what?
This manual is for people doing the first month.
Okay.
Are you in the first month class? I mean, the
Yeah.
Linux. This is for Linux.
Yes, I'm in Linux. Yeah.
Yeah, this Linux manual.
Okay.
The DevOps people, they have their own manual. You want me to show you? They have their manual. So for DevOps, DevOps. Linux is simple. DevOps is this is where the real work starts. So this is DevOps manual. So you're talking about how to. No, there's a manual before this. There's DevOps one. So this Kubernetes. All right. What I tried to do earlier on about working with developers and then taking their codes and building the codes into applications for operation. Yes. So all of this is Kubernetes. So this is what their manual look like. All right. When we say infrastructure as code, this is an example of infrastructure as code. All right. But you don't have to write all of those codes from scratch. There are places where you can pick them. So I'll show you. All right. So this is DevOps. So this is what Abimbola will be doing. And then of course there is DevOps 1. That's actually the second month of DevOps. First month of DevOps is this one. DevOps 1, CI/CD. Right? The meaning of DevOps. Right? CI/CD. We're going to do a lot of JIT commands. Right? We're going to learn JIT commands, and then we are going to do Maven. We are going to do Jenkins. All right? This is infrastructure as code. All right? So this is the Terraform code that would, if you run this, it will go into AWS cloud and set up in this region. It will set up for you 2 servers, depending on what number you put there. If you put 1, it will set up 1 server using that skip here. This kind of, if you put 10, it will set up 10 servers for you. Right? So just run this from the command line of your ID, and all of that will be set up. That's an example of that's good. All right? And then the project start of the project 1. All right? Project 2. Project 3, project 4, up to project 15. Project 3. All right? So this way you really get your hands dirty in terms of then Docker. All right, so yeah, that's it. So back to class. If there are no questions, maybe we should start the training today. Are you sure there are no questions to really help you make you comfortable before we start the training proper? Ansible is about management configuration. All right.
So are we starting the DevOps class today, or it's for the solution architect folks?
So what we have today is introduction to everything, irrespective of what class you would ultimately belong. But after today, the DevOps, your own DevOps class would be this same time, Mondays and Wednesdays. But this class that we have now, this Linux first month, will remain Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's how it's going to run. So your class will be tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday? No, not. Your class will start proper next week, Monday, yes. Well, I'll give you the manuals beforehand. And then, yeah, so at least you can have something to practice. All right. So is there anyone else apart from, who else, apart from the 2 that I know, who else is here for strictly for DevOps, not for Linux and AWS? You already know cloud, you already know Linux. You just want to go straight to DevOps. Anyone else? So I expect like 2 more persons that are going straight to DevOps. Maybe they are not here yet. Are you here? And then from next class, we are using a different link. This is just introductory class. That's why I allowed it. So I'll share a new link that will allow only paid people into class from this. All right. Okay, let's do something then. There are no questions. So let us start the course proper. Linux proper. So I'll close this. I'll close this. And then we'll start here. All right. What's the concept of virtualization? I saw it here now. Local area network 1. All right. Introduction to Linux basics, Linux distributions, share prompt, navigation, and so on and so forth. All right. So if you do not already have account, this is how to create. I'm here for DevOps. Dolapo, yes, I think.
I'm here.
Yeah, you are the London person, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay, yeah, just the 2 of you. I know you are here for DevOps, yeah. So the 2 of you, for now, like I said, hopefully the other 2 people join, so there'll be 4 of us. All right, but for now, just bear with us as we. So your class will be Mondays and Wednesdays.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right, so for the rest of us, let us go into AWS and create AWS account so that we're able to go into cloud every time, set up a Linux server, and then practice with that server. And then once we are done practicing, we shut down the server. The next time we come, we set up the server again. This is what employers are looking for. Employers are looking for, what have you done in cloud? Have you done this before? All right. So to go to AWS, it would be, let's close all of this and start all of. All right, so if you do not have AWS account already, a cloud account, so you are going to do aws.amazon.com. How did I know? Because it's in the notes. To run Linux from a virtual machine in AWS cloud, go to aws.amazon.com and create free AWS account. Is anybody practicing this with me? Because I already have an account, so I need somebody who does not have an account to start the assistant. Is there any volunteer? Anybody who does not have an account? Type in aws.amazon.com on your browser and then tell me what you see. Yes, what do you see? Do you see sign into the console like I'm seeing here?
No, mine is different.
What does yours say?
Mine says create an AWS account.
Exactly. All right, so that's what you are going to click. Click that so that you can create an AWS account. And then it's as simple as just like you are creating an email address. The only thing you would need is a payment card, credit or debit. It will not necessarily take money, but you need to. Do you have a payment card ready?
I have to go pick that one up. Just give me a split second.
All right. Anyone else that's trying to set up an account? Yeah, no one else is trying to set up an account. Okay, so we'll wait for the active person to come back. So we just use that to learn how to create AWS account. So the account is free of charge, provided you use only resources that are free tier. All right. So not everything is free. You are limited to what you can use. And then you can use, you have a usage allowance of 750 hours per month. All right. So as long as you did not leave so many resources running simultaneously, that is more than enough to practice with. Because the idea is to make you an AWS engineer so that with this practice, you're able to use or at least architect a solution on AWS cloud. All right. Are you back yet?
All right, yeah, I'm back.
Oh. All right, so you click create account. Or do you mind sharing your screen so that at least you can follow what you are doing? Or you have your, I don't know if you
I
have
can share my screen.
All right, then.
That's fine.
Let me see. All right. So what's your name?
Kosi.
Okay. So
Kosuso.
let me. That's K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make you a co-host now, so you can share.
Okay. So let me shut down some windows. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. All right.
Can you see
So
my
sign
screen?
off. Yes, we can see us. We can see us. All right. So root user email correct.
I can just put in my name here, right?
Yes. We sent an email with verification code to your email address. Just make sure you are sharing only this window so we don't have to follow you.
Okay. Oh, it hasn't dropped yet.
You can refresh.
You say? Let me
Just
resend it.
refresh.
We sent code 54.
Maybe the server is having some issues. It's not dumping. Next
Still
now,
not
see.
yet.
Nah, not yet.
Okay, so there's only one experimenting, so we'll just put this. So that means everyone else has an account already.
It wouldn't drop. I guess maybe we could move now.
Okay. Still has one drop.
I have an account.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
I don't
we'll
have
just
an
give you.
account. I'm just following right now.
Oh, okay. You prefer to follow right there and print one, all right?
Has yours dropped? Did your code drop?
No, he's not practicing. He's just watching us, right?
Yeah, my code, I'm following up right now. My code just dropped, my verification code.
Okay. Okay. Do you mind to share so that? Or
Want me
maybe
to
nobody.
share?
Maybe nobody is learning. Or the idea of sharing is for somebody to learn from you, so that when they are doing that.
Okay, let me go ahead and share.
But are you sure somebody is learning from watching? Well, looks like you're all experts already. You already have.
No, we are not.
You want me to
Okay.
share my screen?
Yes, that's FAO, right?
Foul. Yeah, foul.
Foul. Let's see. Yes. Okay, you may leave. You may stop sharing.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share.
Yes, you can try foul. Yeah, fast. Try and share.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So that's it. So you got that verification from your email, right?
Yes.
It's your email address has been successfully verified. Okay. So root user password. That's the password it will ask you every time you are logging on to.
So I just created one right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure you remember. It will use doesn't have to be really strong. You can remember. Okay. All right, and then you provide your personal information here. If you want, you can post your.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put the information in.
Yes, and then that's basically it. So I mean, the rest is just click, 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 and then you enter your credit card information. That's all.
Okay.
They are not charging you right now, but in case you overstep your boundaries, and your boundary is 750 hours per month, and then of course, some services and resources are labeled free tier eligible. So if you leave those resources and you go and use the ones that are not labeled free tier eligible, then you'll be charged. So that's why they need to keep your payment in. All right, so the rest is easy. Yeah.
In this case, I just click like on personal.
Yes, personal. Anything business will involve money. So yeah, personal is good.
Okay. Should I go ahead and stop sharing?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay.
All right, so once that is done, we'll just set up a server. And then we'll see what we can practice. We are still waiting for you. I mean, we have plenty of time. This thing is really, there's no need to rush it. I just need to carry everybody along. So if you already know this and it looks like we are wasting time, please bear with us. It's just the beginning, so everybody needs to be on the same page. Then once we start on a good note and everybody's good, we'll move faster. So let me know once you make a headway, once you complete your
I'm not sure what I did to Amazon, but I've tried 2 email addresses and it's not working. They're not dropping my verification code.
Okay. Have you tried to use that email
An
before?
Amazon account
Probably...
already?
Sorry?
Do you have an Amazon account already?
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I
I was
don't.
asking.
Why
No,
don't you just
me.
use that one? Then you create a root account on that Amazon account you have. Then you
You
just...
say it does not have one.
No,
Oh,
I
it
don't.
doesn't. Okay.
I don't.
And maybe you try a different email address then.
Yeah, I've tried a different email address. It still won't drop my verification code, but
Okay. Yeah, give them.
that's fine.
Where are you, by the
I'll
way?
try. I'm Mesquite.
Okay, yeah. We use the same server. Yeah, just give them some time and see. Yeah, what about for files? Are you making progress?
Yeah, so I'm already at a complete sign up part.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So once one person can do it right, it means that we can assume. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's not a major problem. You just try it one more time, and then if you still have issues, you share on the WhatsApp group, and then we'll support you.
Okay. Okay.
Is your laptop a brand new laptop?
Mine?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
And there's no
Sometimes
VPN
you have
on
to
this
set the
laptop.
timing to synchronize. All right, so let's go. Let's do something. So let's share screen. Okay, so because I already have an account, I'm not just creating a new account. It's going to tell me sign into the console. So I click that. Okay, it still remembers that I signed in recently in the last 10 minutes. So that's why it's not asking me for. All right, let me just do it. So let me sign out. All right, so I come back here and I do sign in. And then, of course, the root user would be the email account that I used, and that is this. And then, of course, I say next, and then I say password. Provide my password. That's all. About multi-factor authentication, and the rest of it. Don't worry about that now. When we get to cloud, we'll do that. All right. So for now, there are many services in cloud: E2, S3, and so on and so forth. All right. So if I'm not sure where the exact service is, even though I know that it's under compute, rather than looking for it there, I can just come here and search for EC2. That's the service I'm looking for. All right, so it comes up here and I take EC2. All right. All right. Up and not too fast. And then, of course, you see, in my own case, I have 2 instances running. That's why I show you 2 instances. In your case, you just come here. By the way, let's look at the normal. All right. So number 1 is you click number 1 here. Number 1, click launch instance. And then number 2, there. We'll come here and say launch. It's no longer showing exactly like as it was shown there. But in any case, just click launch instance. And then you provide a name here. Any name is okay. Call it my practice server or my Linux server or as simple as any name is. All right. So that's what we have here in number 3. Right. Provide a name there. And then number 4, you go to key pair. Key pair. And then after number 4, you do final click, nothing else. Right. So I come back here. After
Mr.
I provide
what's that key pair for? Is it like a tag?
No, key pair is you need key pair to be able to SSH into this server remotely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the public key and the private key combined, but we'll talk more about it later. All right. So like I said, so we'll go down and look for key pair. Don't worry about any of this because you do not know what they mean at this time. So don't mess them up. Just leave them. So the default setting is on Amazon Linux. All right. Of course, later on you would see how to use Ubuntu, Red Hat, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, they are the same. The only difference between Ubuntu and there is just 1 command or maybe 2 commands. The commands are the same. All right. In my own case, I scroll all the way down. Again, don't touch here. Just leave it at the default value of T2 micro. All right. Free tier eligible. That's what I was talking about. We'll leave it at free tier. And then for key pair, in your own case, you do not have a key pair. So you come here and you say, create new key pair. New key pair. The whole idea of key pair is without key pair, you'll not be able to SSH into this system later on. All right. So you want to be able to SSH into this system. So you provide a key pair. All right. Give it any name. Give it my key pair, for example. My key pair. Right. And then by itself, it will append the extension .pen. So just provide name, don't touch anything else, otherwise you would have error, and say create key pair. Anybody trying this too?
Yes.
Anyone doing it? Okay. You are doing this alone. Okay. That's good. So all you do is the name of the server and then key pair. In my own case, my key pair is the ITern key pair. But since you do not have one, create key pair and give it to me. Those are the only 2 things you feel. Don't worry about the other part. Or you do not know what they mean, right? And then once you complete those 2, yeah, those 2 forms are. Then you say launch instance. So your instance will launch. Now you have a server that is running a Linux operating system with which you can practice.
I have a quick question.
Yes, go on.
So once that step when you say you we create a key pair, after that we just go ahead and launch instance after
Yes.
create a key pair.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you successfully launch?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Worse. No. Yeah, while waiting, is anyone else launching?
I'm done launching.
Okay, so two down. Anyone else?
I'm trying to.
Sorry?
I'm trying to
Okay. Are you
launch
having
it.
difficulty?
No, I'm just
Okay.
starting now.
All right. Okay, yeah, we can go on while we'll still support you. So once your instance is ready, the next thing you want to do is go click the instance. So let's go there. So we have 3 instances running in my own case. Your own case, maybe 1. So I click the instance that I want to connect to. I check the box. You see? So that box is checked. All right, this gives me detailed information, call it metadata, about the instance, but that's not my interest. Once the box is checked beside the server that I want to connect to, I'll come here and I'll click connect. And then to tell me there are several ways to connect, which of them do I want to use? I just leave it here. I'm not clicking anything. Because at this level, you do not even understand the meaning of SS Session Manager, SSH client, any of this. You just leave it at EC2 instance connect, and then you click connect. So that takes you from outside, from the external environment into the Linux server. All right. Here we see that we are running Amazon Linux. Right. This is Linux. So this is the command line interface. Right. Or better still, the terminal of your Linux. All right. So this is where we'll be learning how to use Linux. Right. Linux command. So we'll be learning Linux command. For example, CLEAR is pronounced clear. It means clear the screen. If I press enter, the screen is cleared now. All right, so you have learned your first Linux command. Clear this.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think I saw 2 Amazon Linux there. The 2 free tier Amazon Linux. What is the difference between that when we're doing that? Because I saw 2 there before we launch the instance.
No, it's always 1. Okay, let's create 1 more. All right, so let's create 1 more so that you see. All right, so launch instance.
Oh, okay.
And then let's call this one.
So right there, I think I saw.
One?
No, other the free tier. These are EMI machine. They're down here. We click that. I think.
No, don't click that. Don't click that. Don't click anywhere. You are clicking only 2 places here. So here, the name, and then the second place is your key pair. That's all. Those are the only 2 things you are clicking.
So I'm done doing that. I'm already on the command line interface. What I said is this.
So that's outside. Where you are going is outside the scope of what we are doing now.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I saw that as I'm asking, is there any difference between that?
Okay. So that's AWS. We'll look into that when we get to AWS.
So
right now, we just want to create a simple machine that is running AWS. Amazon Linux, and I'm glad you successfully completed. If we are opening there now, we'll be going out of scope. All right. So ls. What does ls mean? It means list the content of this directory. In fact, what am I? Print working directory. PWD, it means where am I here? So this is telling me, since it's not a graphic user environment where I can see stuff and click with my mouse, this is command line interface. So I have to ask the system, where in this directory tree am I currently operating from? So it tells me I am operating from a directory called EC2 user. Directory is folder. Folder directory is the same thing. Linux calls it directory, even though these days they are also using folder, but Windows calls it folder. All right, so this tells me that I'm working from a folder called EC2 user, which is located in the home directory of the Linux machine, right? So PWD, print working directory. Some people also call it present working directory. It tells you where you are. And if you now do ls, it lists the contents of this current directory that I'm working from. So right now, I'm in the directory EC2 user, which is in home directory, and I do not have anything. It's brand new, fresh, nothing inside, completely empty. If I had something inside, ls would have shown me this is what I have inside. So who am I? It's a command. So right now, I'm using this system, this machine, as EC2 user. All right. So this system, this machine is seeing me, the current user, is seeing me using this system now as the username EC2 user. All right. So I'm working as EC2 user in the machine with this IP address. All right. Showing the EC2 user on that name. All right. If I want to say clear the screen, to be clear. All right. So I want to say print working directory one more time, cd ... What does that mean? It means take me away from my present working directory one step down. In other words, move me away from EC2 user directory into home directory. If I say print working directory now, it's showing me now that I'm no longer in EC2, I'm now in home directory. All right. That is the result of cd space ... Take me one directory out.
Can we come again on that CD? ...
cd space ... means take me away from this directory EC2 user from the second floor to the first floor to the directory home. So when I say cd ... it will take me one step out of my current directory to the next level. So that's why it's showing me home now. If I do cd ... one more time, what do you expect? It will take me away from this home directory to the next directory. This next directory is written PWD. It's written like that. That is pronounced root directory. So this is the root directory. It is from this root directory that all directories germinate and grow from. If I say cd ... after the root directory, there is nowhere else to go. That is the bottom foundational directory. If I say print working directory, I'm still in root directory. Did you get it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you got it, let's do it. Let's do it one more. All right, so cd. Let's find print working directory. So what directory am I in right now?
Root
The EC2 user.
EC2 user.
No, I'm not in root 2. I mean EC2 user directory.
EC2 user.
Yeah. So what is EC2 user directory?
That is you as the person.
No, this is a directory. It's inside or on top of the directory home.
Home.
Mm-hmm. And what is the home directory?
The one is in root.
It's in root. So that's how this is read. So EC2 user directory in home directory in root directory, or EC2 user directory on home directory on root directory, right? So if I now do cd space dot dot, what does that mean? I'm saying take me away from this room into
going back to home.
Yeah, go back one step. And what we have on that one step level is home. If I say print working directory, you are going to see home. All right. What if I now do cd dot dot one more time? What do you expect to see?
Root.
Root. Print working directory confirms root. All right. And if I do cd dot dot one more time, where do you expect me to go from root? C root, right?
See the roots? Yeah.
Correct. So I'm in root. And now that I'm in root, I want to take a look around. Show me what are the branches and the leaves. And so the leaves will be like the files, and the branches will be other directories. So from this root, what and what do I have here? Show me around. Show me everything. The command is ls. In fact, I should just show you right away. Instead of ls, I prefer to do -l. Just get used to it right away. ls -l. And then it shows me all of these other directories that germinate from the root. Directory bool, directory dev, directory etc, directory home, you see, all of them, system directory. I have not created any user directory. All of these directories are system made. They came with the Linux operating system. Right? If I want to go into any particular directory, for example, this directory etc, the command is cd. It means change directory to etc. I put the name of the directory. I can now say print working directory. It shows me that I am now in X. So from root, I have gone into X because I said change directory to cd. All right. If I now want to say, if I want to take a look around and see what is the content of X, what's the command? The command is ls -l. Actually, the command is ls. I'm just adding the option -l. So the command is ls. But I prefer to see it as ls -l. It's vertically lined. All right. So I see that, wow, a lot of files and directories inside the directory X. So ls -l will show me the content of the directory that I'm in. All right. Let's take one step backward. If I want to clear the screen, and then I'm in X now, if I want to go to the root directory, take one step back, what do I do?
cd space dot dot.
All right, cd space dot dot. If I do print working directory, it shows me that I'm in root. ls -l shows me all of the directory. So I want to go into the directory home. There's a door labeled home. I want to go into the room. I want to open the door and go in. How do I do that?
CD home.
cd home. Thank you. ls -l confirms that I'm now in home. And the only other thing that I have inside home is a directory called EC2 user. I want to go into this door. I want to open this door and go inside. How do I do it? cd EC2 user. Correct. ls -l confirms that there is nothing else. So this is how to, we're learning how to navigate directories, how to go into a directory, how to go out of a directory, how to make a directory, and so on and so forth. The directory is simply the place that you create to save your files. For file organization, for file management, you don't just dump files anywhere. You create a room, and then you arrange the files that are relevant to that room. Just like you, in your house, you have a kitchen, then you put things that are related to kitchen there. You have a bedroom, you put things that are related to bedroom, instead of having a common place where everything is. All right. We're not really, do not intend to take you too far today, just introduction. So let me just teach you basic.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, probably you can explain what these files mean.
What files mean?
I mean the files in the roots directory.
The directories.
Yeah.
These directories are the directories. You did not create them. They are system directories.
Mm-hmm.
They are system directories. Okay. var is the directory where the system will keep files that are related to variables. All right. User temp is where it will keep files that are not really important to the system, just temporary files that they are not really important. Sorry?
I think it's the files that come with the operating system itself. Like to simplify it for me. It's inside the system when you install the operating system on that instance itself. So it's like your Windows operating system. You know, the C drive, there is a particular section that has the system file. You can't do anything there.
Okay. So are you explaining this to us? This is?
No, I'm just kind of like telling them like it comes with the Linux operating system itself.
Yeah. Yeah, all the directories, right?
Yes, this one.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just giving an overview what each of them. Yeah. They come with the Linux operating system. So the Linux, yeah. Okay, so the Linux operating system would save files that are related to all of your commands. It will save them in bin. All right. And then the root, it will save files that are related to the root user. You don't know what root user is right now. And then etc, it will save files that are configuration files. They are strictly etc. In order for this system to boot, the part of the operating system that it needs for this system to come up to boot, it saves them here. All right. Then media would be if you have graphics, videos, and documentation, that's where to save them. Mount, it will use them to mount, to connect itself to storages. Maybe you set up an S3 bucket in cloud and you want to now connect the S3 bucket to this system. It will do that through mount. Of course, what I'm saying is definitely too complex at this level, but boss, because you asked, I just wanted to please summarize. So I don't know if it makes sense, but that's an idea of what.
It makes sense though.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just asking because I recently I went through a challenge like this, and I didn't know why they had to go through these particular directories when upgrading the system.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah, but we'll definitely be talking later more about the etc because we have, as Linux systems administrators, we have business there. And then of all of these places, they are sacred. The only place that we can go to and be our home country, the only place we're allowed to go to and do whatever we want and whatever we want to do is the home directory. So you see that right now, if we attempt to, where are we? We'll go back to root. And then we'll now say, what are we? Print working directory, we're in root, ls-l. If we now say cd var, for example, and then we'll do ls-l in var, and we'll do cd account, ls-l, and then ls-l make directory Akin, for example. It's going to tell us permission denied. So the point I'm trying to make is that we are not allowed, just like somebody said, these are system directories. We are not allowed to work in any of these places, any of them. The only place we are allowed to work where we can create directories, create files, and do stuff without permission denied is the directory home, ls-l. This is the only directory. Print working directory, this directory, right? But we'll come back to that later on. I'll just another one.
Question, sir.
Right.
Question, please.
All right. Go on.
I have a question, please.
Yes, please go on. Go on with your question.
Okay. Does it mean that all these directory are similar to like a program file in a normal computer?
So these directories are just folders. That's what it is. So if I come here now and I open this folder, so this is what we call directory. This is a directory. This is a directory. So if I open here now This is another directory inside the folder, inside the directory AWS. So that's what they are. And then if I open here, look at file. This is a file, this is a file, this is a file. These are files inside directory. This is another directory. The yellow briefcase is a directory. And then what you have inside the yellow briefcase are files. So what we are seeing there, they are just directories then containing files. But they are system files. So we should not, in fact, we will not even be able to delete any of them. Because if we attempt to delete it, the system will say, I need this file to operate well. You cannot delete it. You should say permission denied.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying is that, on a normal computer, which is not a command line like this, we do have a program file, which is you will not be able to delete anything on it also. So is it like similar to like a program file or any file that come with the operating system?
Yes, that's what I said. That's what we call system files. I thought I mentioned that many times. What you are calling program files, I call system files. So they belong to the system needs them, they don't belong to you. So you cannot delete what you did not create. Yes. So to use your, yes, what are they? So all of these directories are system directories, and the content of the system directories are system files. So the system needs all, in fact, the system created all of them, and therefore needs all of them to be able to do it. So if you attempt to delete any, it will not let you. And if by some mago you are able to delete it, then you are causing trouble, because when it needs to use the file to not find it, your system will misbehave. Yes, so they are all program files. All right. So your question might not be, if they are program files, what about our own files? When do we begin to create and use our own files? The only place you can begin to create and use our own files is this directory. And that's why I'm showing you that this is the only place. You go anywhere else, you will not be allowed to create your file, because you'll be creating them on top of system. All right. Now, let us go to the only place where we can do stuff. So irrespective of where we are, if we do cd etc, for example, let's see cd, what directory is it? Cd SSSD. Permission denied. Okay, you cannot go there. Okay, so irrespective of where we are, if we want to reprint working directory, if we want to go back to our own directory where we can do our work without hindrance, without permission denied, the command to get there is cd, just cd. Right? It used to be cd tilde, but there's no need to put tilde, just cd. So if I press cd now and I do print working directory, it's going to show me that I am now home where I can do stuff. So right here, if I say make directory and call it Akin, it will not say permission denied. This is my home place. This is my home. This is my. I am working at CC2. This is my directory. So if I say make directory, remove directory, anything, everything I'm practicing, I'll be practicing under here. All right. So if we do ls-l now, we are going to see that there is now a directory called Akin that was created when I said make directory Akin. How do we go into that directory? The command is change directory to Akin. cd space Akin. If I do li, and I do ls minus print working directory, I'm going to see that I am now inside directory Akin, which is inside EC2 user, which is inside home, and which is in the root directory. Let's create one more directory inside Akin. The command is make directory. And then let's call the directory John, for example. All right. If I do ls-l, which means show me around, what do we have around here? It shows me that I have a directory called John. So to change directory to John, the command is change directory to John. All right. Print working directory, confirm that I am not inside John. All right. So who can help me create one more directory on top of John? and call it Mac.
CD.
CD. I want to create a directory right here.
Make directory.
Yeah,
empty
make directory. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Mark,
Luke,
whatever. So, how do I look around to see if Mark was actually created?
ls-l.
PWD.
Okay. ls minus l, I will look around. ls actually, but ls minus l. All right. So that shows me that Mark was created. How do I go into this Mark that has been created?
CD Mark.
Change directory, CD Mark. All right. How do I know where I am? Even though it's already showing me that I'm in Mark here, but I want to see the full path name.
PWD.
Correct. Print working directory. All right. So now I'm in Mark, and Mark is inside John. John is inside Akin. Akin is inside EC2. All right. So this is the path name of my current directory. Mark.
What about text file?
Text file. We're not creating files yet.
Okay.
When we start creating files now, we'll be creating text files. All right. So if I wanted to move away from Mark into John, what would I do? So right now I'm inside Mark. I want to move
CD
dot.
Yes, CD space dot dot, correct. But what if I wanted to go straight from Mark to root without, one option is to do CD dot dot, CD dot dot, CD dot dot 4 times. Alternatively, I can just do CD root. CD root will take me, that's how to write root / right? So it takes me straight from Mark to root, and I can see that. I'm already seeing it.
Either work on the directory or it's just a / to get to root.
It's always this. It's always a / Yeah.
What of CD dot / dot?
CD dot what?
/ dot.
That's a different thing. The dot means current directory.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll do it. So print working directory now shows that we are now inside root. Correct. So we're just learning how to navigate, how to take one step. Like we're babies, learning to stand up, take one step, fall down. You know. If we wanted to go straight to Mark without just straight away taking the elevator, it would be this is the partner. If we just enter the whole of this one in front there, it will just take us there. If you say CD, not copy and paste here. Oh. Don't worry about it. We'll do it later. So, yeah, I think we can stop there. It's the first day. Not let me overload you with command. So for now, who can show me how to move? Look around ls minus l. CD home ls minus l. CD EC2 user ls minus l. CD Akin ls minus l. CD John ls minus l. CD Mark ls minus l. That's it. All right. Networking directory. That's it. Right. Clear the screen. All right. And then, of course, if I want, I can begin to remove directory. But let's not rush. So today, what have we learned? If I say history, it will show me the list of commands that we have used today. All right. All of the commands that we have learned today. So today we have learned how to clear screen, how to do PWD, how to use ls, OMI. So 1, 2, 3, 4, how to do CD dot dot. We've learned more than 5 or 7 commands today. Right? Then we will learn how to make directory. Don't worry, we'll repeat all of this one more time, or in fact, we'll be doing it every day for the next 30 days. and then they will just become mental. All right. So for now, you are able to go into cloud to set up your EC2, and then you know how to connect to your Linux and then begin to practice all of this. So this is what we are stopping today. All right, so this where you're able to come to this place now, and then we're able to practice from there. All right, so next time I'm going to show you how to set up your SSH client from your sister. We'll use one of these many options, and then we'll continue from there. All right, please try and set up your account, your cloud account, so that you have access to AWS. And then that way you can at least practice, run into problems, and then present your problem. When you have problems and you need support, just take a screenshot of the issue you have and post it on the group. And then somebody will see it and say, this is what you are doing wrong. Oh, I had a similar problem, but I was able to resolve it by doing this. Right? So those are the pieces of exercises that you would assemble to form your experience. All right? To say that, yes, I was able to do this. But for now, we've learned enough commands for the first day. Of class. Questions?
I have a question, please.
Yes, please go.
When we use EC2 Connect, does it take you automatically to Cloud Shell, or what terminal is this?
This is your Linux terminal.
Okay, this is different from Cloud Shell.
Yeah, this is not Cloud
Okay.
Shell.
Okay.
It's your Linux terminal. So Cloud Shell, you will not even need to set up a machine to get to Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell is just a simulation of cloud environment, and that is Cloud Shell. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Cloud Shell, it's just this is the real thing. You are actually working with a server. You cannot practice with Cloud Shell and claim that you know how to manage server.
Okay.
Here we actually had to set up a server, and then of course later on we'll actually be able to configure the server to become our Git server, our Docker server, our Kubernetes server, our web server. All of that you cannot do with this simulated environment.
So in other words, AWS provides two type of environments, both the Cloud Shell and the Linux terminal.
AWS Cloud Shell is not really the environment. It's just a simulation of the environment so that you can practice basic Linux commands.
Okay.
So let me see. So the terminal we have there is a result of the EC2 that we created. It's not the same thing as Cloud Shell. That was what I explained the first time. So in this case, we have a machine and we went into the machine.
Okay.
In the case of Cloud Shell, we do not need machine.
Okay.
There is no machine. We are not connected to machine. We are just using an environment that is, the meaning of simulation. It's not the real thing, but it's just presented like the real thing so that you can run your command.
Okay.
Yes. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. So now that you are done practicing, it's important for you to terminate your instances, to shut down your instances. Otherwise, your 750 hours will be counting. And then once you exhaust that, your bill will start to run. So in order to terminate your instances, you close your terminal, and then you come to your server, you check it, and then you see instance state, you see terminate instance. Terminate. So from running, it is shutting down now. So this is the way This is the way you will not be billed while you are asleep. Right. Once you leave it running, and then you go to bed, while you are sleeping, you are being, your meter is running. You must remember to, not just for EC2, but at least this is where we are now. In future, as you begin to create additional resources and more services, you must remember to shut them down. All right. So in this case, I'm just going to refresh. And then I see that I still have 2 servers running. I'm going to check the 2 servers, both servers. They are both checked. And then I'll say terminate both of them. When they are terminated, they are shutting down. All right. It's a good practice to always shut down your server when you are not using it. Saves yourself. All right. Yes. We can take more questions now. Work in a relaxed environment. We are not compelled to learn all of the commands in one day. Okay. Yes, questions? We'll talk about the distributions later on. Or at least now you have used one distro. You use Amazon Linux.
Can we clear our key paths too? Key pairs?
No, leave your
pair.
key pair. No, leave it. You will need it almost your entire life as a cloud person. You'd always need it. Don't delete it. At least not now. All right, so if I refresh, it shows that I do not have any instance from. Yeah, questions? All right, so what's the difference between an operations person, otherwise called cloud engineer? The cloud engineer is here. Yeah, let's just call it operation. What's the difference between an operations person and a DevOps person?
I think DevOps, they are the one that put together the development, that is the one that write the codes together to turn it to operation, that send it to the solution architect to be used in cloud for infrastructure.
To be used in cloud. Okay, yeah, at least you tried. Yeah. So then what about operations? What do operations people do?
They're like system administrator that manages the applications operation for the organization.
Okay, so what's the scope of operations?
Like the application that are running on the servers, maybe like business applications that DevOps write the codes. They kind of manage it on behalf of DevOps, like for the company. How would I put it? Yeah, that's what they do. They manage those applications.
Okay.
Like she said, they put the applications together.
No, how would I put it?
Oh, please,
like
what do you mean in terms
they
of
manage, like.
Okay, so yeah, I understand all of that. I wanted to hear from the perspective of the scope, where in terms of by scope I mean the coverage of the work area. So whereas the DevOps person would go beyond operations to interface with the developers, pull their codes and build it into operation, the operations person, where does the scope of his work end?
Basically maintain the infrastructure.
Okay, within cloud. They don't go outside
within
of
the cloud
to collaborate with unlike DevOps, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
DevOps actually bridge the gap between the operations and the development team.
Yeah. So yeah, you are all correct, but I just wanted to hear from that perspective. Yeah, that's right. So now in as far as job description, they could call a particular position solutions architect, but describe the job as we know DevOps right now. So there's really no difference technically in terms of what employers are looking for out there. It's just the nomenclature, it's just the name. Between a DevOps, yeah, in theory, there will be difference. But in operations, they can put the role of solutions architect, but expect the solutions architect to know this, know this, know this, know this. In other words, it's a DevOps role that they are calling solutions architect. So that is why, if you saw a place where I said you can bear any of these 10 titles, you can learn the same stuff. Somebody will be hired as SRE, another person may be hired as a operations person, another person may be hired as a, the only place you may not be hired here is just developer. But anything other than developer all the way to the right, including even observability, you can be hired and be called that role. There. But the more you know, the better, and then the more you can fit into whatever they want you to be. So as a DevOps person will first of all know the operations, like you are learning now. But operations person may not necessarily know the Git, GitHub, and all of the other tools. Yeah, some of these things may not make sense right now because it's only your first class in IT, but all right. So as an operations person, you don't know so much. You don't even know what you should know now. Or at least you know there's one thing you should know, at least one tool you should know to use in operations before you say. At least one. What is that tool? Linux operating system. Correct. Correct. And that's why we're learning Linux. All right. All right, that's good. So what are the people that said they were new to IT? All of you are talking like experts already. You said you were new. I thought you were completely new. All right, so that's enough for one day, guys. And set up
AWS A+.
AWS what?
It's a great help for the foundation that I had. So.
Oh, okay. You completed AWS already?
I've done the cloud practitioner, and I'm almost ready to do my exam on the solution architect.
Oh wow! Then you are not new now.
I don't have a foundation, but that's where I started from.
Yeah, that's good.
That's why I have to go back to the basic to learn this, so that's to help me incorporate everything.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. We'll definitely go. All right, so I'll let you go, and then the video will be ready, and then I'll post the link on the group. But from next week, will be a new link. I'll share the new link. All right, so I have a class tomorrow with sorry, not tomorrow. Okay, we already said next week. I thought today was with DevOps. So if anybody decides that they also want to do DevOps alongside, you are welcome to join us. The more we are there, the merrier. DevOps.
So how soon are we getting the material for this class?
Material within the next 2 hours. The video and the manual should be ready, and then I'll post them on the forum. Are you already a member of the forum? WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post them there.
So I got a question. So if
yes,
I want to do DevOps alongside, because I kind of have like a beginner's knowledge of AWS, but I kind of like understand almost what you've been teaching. Once I just brush up a little bit, I'll be up to speed. So if I want to join the DevOps alongside, like how is the pricing going to be like?
It's the same pricing. Let's see what the pricing is like. So that's the pricing. Give me 1 sec. All right, so we'll do all of that. We'll do all of this. We'll do, and then once we are done with AWS and Kubernetes, I know that very well. We'll now go into, not too detailed into Azure, but we'll just use console to do Azure DevOps. We'll learn Azure DevOps. And then, of course, at this price.
So when is the next class for the DevOps after this training?
We're a training company, so we're always here. We always have classes.
I just don't want to put everything together.
Yeah, we always have classes. So it's up to you to say, this is when I'm ready. Yeah, definitely we encourage you to face one and then focus on one. But well, occasionally we have people like you feel, man, I can combine it because like the person who is completing the AWS Solutions Architect, for example, you may just want to say, you know what? This is really one that I'm missing. Why don't I just save 1 month? Yeah. It happened, but
so and they go side by side. The first month go with the first month of the DevOps of the one of the Linux go side by side.
Ideally, you should complete. No, not side by side. Ideally, you should complete these first 3 months to be able to understand the next 3 months.
Okay.
It's not the first month of this and first month of this. No.
So
because here we are assuming.
Yeah. If I'm done with this, the cloud solution architect, do I have to do the class again with you?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Unless by yourself you really feel inadequate and you feel that, if I do this one, I'll be doing 1 or 2. For example, this class now is assuming here we are not going to be going into console to do anything. So this is assuming that you already know this one. We'll be setting up our infrastructure completely from here. So if you do not already know infrastructure as code, for example, you may not be able to do this. And if you do not know AWS, then you may not know infrastructure as code because this is what exposes you to the real infrastructure before you can now use code to build it. So one is built on top of the other. So no, it's the same curriculum. Once you've covered solutions architect, but of course I've had people self-train and even pass the certification, but still come back to say, yes, all of that I struggled, I managed fine, but now I really want the practical exposure. I want to be able to do it. Yes, unless you fall in that category of, well, yes, even though I have the certification, I still need.
I was still prepared to learn, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can afford it, and then you have the time. I mean, so many factors. Time, 3 months is not a short time. Money, even though we reduce this from, this used to be 600, and this used to be 1,000. And then you just feel like, for example, this one. Oh, okay, no. Most of the projects here are DevOps projects. Most of them are DevOps projects. But of course, you may just have somebody who has gone through the training with us and came to say, wow, that training is so practical, thank God. And then you say, me too. I want to have that practical session and make mistakes and have somebody to run to say, correct this mistake, I couldn't complete it on my own. Me, if you want all of that, I'm provider. All right. So we still have 3 months to, at least 1 month together. This is just the beginning. So we'll have plenty of time to gist and talk about these things. For now, let me just let you go and start the preparation. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. See you before.
Thank you.